What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Tonight we're going to be talking about Dr. Voodoo. We did a video yesterday about Morbius and his plug-and-play potential for war with his ultimate. If you can get that ability energy on him, like he can basically be a deflect killer. Dr. Voodoo is a bit of a different character, and he has a lot of stuff in his kit that is not exclusive to war offense, and that I think gives him a bit more viability for using him outside of a Dark Hunters team. And this looks like a very strong character take in a Dark Dimension. We're going to talk about that in today's video. So if you guys do enjoy this video, you do find it helpful or informative, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Dr. Voodoo, he's a mystic character. He's a campaign event character on top of that, meaning that you should be able to unlock him pretty easily. It's not going to be a difficult one. You will want to get more stars on him. We'll talk about his stats here in a little bit, but his kit is very strong in that his special is a 3-turn cooldown, does ability block and defense down, and does mind control with boosted damage on the mind control enemies to attack that ability block target. And also in his passive, there's a sneaky bit in his passive that I don't think people are quite noticing enough or talking about too much, in that he is going to really excel in a team with minions. And we're going to talk about that. His ultimate has an 8-turn cooldown, so it's a very long cooldown, but can steal 20% max health off of all enemies, redistributes to him and any other Dark Hunter allies, and then also does barrier on him and adjacent allies. So his kit has a lot of cool stuff, and that's not even to mention his basic, which can steal death proof and heal Dark Hunter allies. His ISO attack, though, not so much. And really, it is kind of a shame with him, because if you look at this, for instance, like his basic here, transfers 1 death proof from the primary target to himself, attacks the primary target with 300% damage, and heals self and all Dark Hunter allies by 8% of his character's max health. None of that is on his bonus ISO attack, which is a huge shame. Like, that, I would love to see that stuff. Like, you know, maybe not so much the healing stuff in Dark Hunter allies, 'cause that's a lot, but, you know, stealing death proof, I mean, I get what they're going for. They don't want to have a lot of strong ISO or strong striker attacks on this team already. Morbius is a very good striker already, where he's stealing 10% max health from the target if they have bleed. So, you know, if they put a lot of striker abilities on this team, then yeah, you're going to have issues. Now, this team, like, this team is going to be pretty good in war, and the question is going to be, you know, what can they do outside of war, or what can Dr. Voodoo kind of do on his own? And that's really what we're gonna kind of focus on. And it is Dr. Voodoo. I keep saying Brother Voodoo from time to time, so apologies if I do call him Brother Voodoo at some point in here. But his special here applies ability block and defense down to the primary target and defense down to adjacent targets. Mind control 2 adjacent enemies to attack that primary target, and then control enemies gain 30% bonus damage for this attack. Bury yourself and all Dark Hunter allies by 30% of this character's max health, and bury your adjacent non-Dark Hunter allies by 20% of this character's max health, and then on war offense, this attack cannot be blocked. Now, it should note, like, yeah, okay, it can't be blocked, but there's a lot in this kit that is not tied to war offense. That ability block and the defense down to the primary target, and defense down to all adjacent targets. That's going to be big in Dark Dimension. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But that defense down is huge, and that ability block, and then mind controlling. So we're starting to see, like, more and more of Emma's mind control ability get kind of power crept a little bit. Now, Emma's mind control, her ultimate, is still incredibly powerful because it dispels all positive effects on the enemy team, puts blind on someone, and if that person dies from that attack, now blind's put on someone else on the team. So Emma's is still superior in my opinion, but this is definitely one where you can really see that they're taking this mind control that Emma does and kind of building on it and see what else they can get with it out there. And this one looks really, really good. And this is going to be pretty good in Dark Dimension, I think. And we'll try that in time. Soul Manipulation, it is a 4/8 energy. Steals 20% health from all enemies and redistributes 150% health stolen to all Dark Hunter allies. This bypasses heal block. Clear all negative effects from all Dark Hunter allies. That's great there. All right, that's all war. That's all non-war stuff right there. The attack ignores death proof. This does not seem to be tied to war, so I would be surprised if this ignores death proof outside of war. Maybe yeah, because if it's like down here just passive, you can see in war offense like they add more stuff. So this ignoring death proof seems to be for any game mode, not exclusive to war offense. But in war offense, apply immunity to all mystic allies. Okay, cool. Immunity's not bad, but like this 20% health from all enemies and redistributing it to Dark Hunter allies. That's fantastic. Bypasses heal block, also great. And then clearing all negative effects from all Dark Hunter allies. So even if your team has heal block on them, they're still going to get the heal back up, and then all negative effects are clear for them. So then they get rid of the heal block. So which is great. But then this is where I think Dr. Voodoo, I almost said Brother Voodoo. This is where Dr. Voodoo I think really shines. Gain 5% bonus speed for each death proof on this character up to max of 25%. When this character drops below 50% max health, gain +1 death proof up to a maximum of 5. When any ally dies, gain 1 death proof up to a maximum of 5, and apply offense up to self and all Dark Hunter allies. This, I think, is going to be very, very interesting, especially with minions, because it says when any ally, not when non-summoned minions die. Like if you look at, for example, if you go and look at Star-Lord T'Challa, and you look at his kit, it mentions in there on his passive that he gains this bonus speed bar when on non-summoned enemy death. So it does not make this distinguish. It does not distinguish this with Brother Voodoo's kit, meaning that when any summoned ally dies, they should give +1 death proof to Brother Voodoo, meaning that he is going to, like, if you have, say, Maria Hill in Dark Dimension, she summons 3 shield troopers. They're kind of squishy. They're gonna die rather quickly. That's now 3 death proofs on Brother Voodoo. Gives him 50% bonus speed. And then he can steal death proofs on someone else. He'll drop below 50% health. I mean, that's going to happen in Dark Dimension. That's going to be another death proof on him. So there's definitely some, there's going to be some really interesting stuff here with this passive and this death proof. And then also, while 5 enemies have speed up, self and all allies gain 30% bonus crit chance and crit damage. And then in War Offense on spawn, if you have 3 or more Dark Hunter allies, 2 ability energy for 4 random Dark Hunter allies or self that are not at full energy. So this is pretty much going to be, like, also note this, 4 random that were not at full energy. So, you know, they're opening the door for a 5th Dark Hunter here in the future. But as this is right now, the speed up, we're going to talk about that a little bit. This is really more for, like, Heroes for Hire and War Offense because it gets speed up early on, I believe. So the speed up is able to give them the crit chance and crit damage. No, I believe it's Shang-Chi's ultimate. Yeah, Shang-Chi's ultimate, but because he has blind, it's going to miss. So this, gives speed up to Heroes for Hire allies. So you're not going to, they're going to get speed up on them. Now the Dark Hunters get bonus crit chance and crit damage. They're dealing even more damage to your Heroes for Hire. So that all looks pretty good. The real thing, though, like we've already mentioned here, the minions. So, for instance, let's talk Dark Dimension 5. And we go over here to DD5, move all the way over. So, we're looking at the global nodes, and Dr. Voodoo is a global character. And we're looking for characters in here that are going to get speed up. And, you know, on the first node, there's a couple here, like the Merc Lieutenants. You don't want those happening because that gives offense up in addition to speed up. That's probably not a good idea, so those Merc Lieutenants, not a good call there. But I believe here on the second node, you have these 2 Black Widows here. And you know they're going to give speed up to the entire enemy team. So this giving the bonus crit chance and crit damage to allies while 5 or more enemies have speed up, that's more like it's not necessarily like countering the speed up. What it is kind of balancing the power. Like they get bonus speed, but now your character is going to deal a ton more damage. So this is what you're kind of looking for. You have these 2 Black Widows here, and that's really it for speed up. There's not a lot of instances for speed up in here. At least I don't see much in the way of speed up here too much. So you're not going to get a lot of bonus crit chance and crit damage here, but also keep in mind these characters in here are going to have a lot of health on them. We're talking 2 million health on these, so when he steals 20% max health from those characters, that's 400,000 damage on characters. So he's going to steal a lot of bonus max health there. But I mentioned it already with Maria Hill. And, you know, Maria looks like a pretty popular global choice. And this all just kind of ties together because you've got Sam. Like, my goal is to bring in Sam, Doom, Maria, Dr. Voodoo, and I'm still not sure who on that 5th spot yet. I'm considering Wolverine. I'm considering Sabretooth. Yeah, I mean, there's also, like, Lady Deathstrike. there's some good options out there for who could be that 5th spot for me in global, but Doom is going to be a good one here. Those Doom bots die all the time, and not only does that get deflect on Doom, but now those Doom bots are going to give death proof on Dr. Voodoo, which means that between that and Maria's summons, you're going to get 5 stacks of death proof on Dr. Voodoo very quickly. And this is where we're going to start talking about the stats for him. And this is going to be pretty important. Number 1, his health is very high. 18th best health, tied with Icarus. So very strong in the health department here. Other characters include Dagger, Samurai, or Silver Samurai, Thanos, Kingpin, Sabretooth. Very high health for Brother Voodoo. Dr. Voodoo. See, I told you it was going to happen. Damage, he is very unimpressive. 65, just above average, I believe. So your damage, he's not really good in the damage department, but he's not here because of his damage. His kit is about, you know, stealing max health, stealing the death proof, getting the ability block and defense down on the enemy characters. And that's where you're not really worried about the damage. You're more focused on his, or you're more wanting to deal with his focus here. And his focus is not bad. You know, tied with Elsa and Taskmaster about 51st. So the focus is not exactly something big. So this may be something where you want to put Skirmisher on Brother Voodoo to make sure that he is landing that defense down and that ability. Like, that ability block is huge. So you want to make sure you can use that ability block on him. In terms of armor, 20th here in armor, tied with characters like Surfer, Kestrel, and Ironheart. And then in the resist department, he is about 27, tied with a 4-star or 5-star, 5 red star, Dr. Doom, Morbius, Elsa. Not bad in the resist department, but that focus is a little low here at 51st. So you're probably going to want to throw Skirmisher on him to make sure those things do land. But, you know, that also kind of makes you wonder, like, well, besides Dark Dimension, what else can you do with him? And this is where this, like, bringing in Hela could be very interesting with Dark Hunters. If you take out, I'm thinking, like, if you take out, say, Elsa out of the Dark Hunters, you still have Ghost Rider. You want Ghost Rider because of his passive with the speed bar boost. You want Morbius because of that damage and the trauma and heal block. You want Dr. Voodoo because of that ability block and that defense down. Does a lot of stuff there. Elsa still seems like kind of like the weak spot in terms of the Dark Hunters right now. Like, Mordo brings a lot of good stuff to the table here, like his blind on most of the enemy team, plus that stun on the primary target. I mean, Mordo's not a Dark Hunter, but yeah, Elsa brings nice damage. The question is, how important is that damage? And this is where the testing is going to come into play. But if you could, like, say, take out Elsa, bring in Hela, at that point, you now have the Gregs dying, which are giving death proof to Dr. Voodoo. Yeah, Dr. Voodoo. Every time I say his name, I think, is it brother or is it doctor? And then you have Mordo, who's now giving ability energy to Mystic characters on that team because of his passive. Every time Greg dies, someone on your team is getting ability energy and healed back up because of the Baron Mordo, or the Mordo passive. So it's one of those where, yeah, like, I think like Hela plus Dr. Voodoo could be a very strong team because he's getting those death proofs. And I also forgot to mention, he's at 120 speed already. So you look at it here, 120 speed. He's in the same realm as Taskmaster, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man Miles, Adam Warlock. But you get that 25% boost in speed on him because of those death proofs. Then his speed shoots all the way up to 150 as one of the fastest characters in the game if you can get those death proofs on him. And that, I think, is where Doom and Maria are going to be very important for Dr. Voodoo inside Dark Dimension 5. He's going to be incredibly fast. He's going to get a lot of, remember, his special is a 3-turn cooldown. You can get a lot of ability block and defense down with him, those mind controls. You're going to get some really good use out of Dr. Voodoo, even outside of his ultimate. That ultimate is going to be more like a break glass in case of emergency kind of thing, where if your team is falling low on health, or Brother Voodoo's falling low on health, he seals that, he heals back up, and he barriers some characters for you at the same time. So this is one I think is going to be very interesting to see what we get with Dr. Voodoo. And I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of Dr. Voodoo? Are you guys planning to take him into Dark Dimension 5? He seems to be a possible popular decision for DD5. We'll be trying him out there. And also, you know what? While I'm thinking on it, let me just go ahead and show you. If you guys are going to take Dr. Voodoo into DD5, we'll pull it up here. He is, relatively speaking, not too expensive. He's got his unique piece here. He requires arcane tomes, and the only characters I can think of at the top of my head that require arcane tomes are like Magic and Ebony Maw. There's a couple more. I think Mordo as well as the arcane tomes or the arcane magic, but none of those characters really scream DD5 to me necessarily. So, you know, those arcane tomes are probably sitting there collecting dust. This could be a good option. And yeah, only 2 teal pieces of gear for him. So you're only going to need a total of 36 of the mini uniques for Mystic and 200 teal catalyst here. Overall, does not look too bad. So let me know what you guys think down below. Is this something you guys are considering? Are you guys considering taking Dr. Voodoo in? Anything that I missed or anything you guys want to comment on with him and possible theory crafting ideas, let me know down below. As always, if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys next time.